You're listening to Raising Anchor on 990 WBOB. Welcome to the Raising Anchor Soccer Show with Matt Entrigan and Jason Carey. Your home for news, analysis, and everything Rhode Island FC. Each week, they take you inside the locker room, inside the tactics, and inside the storyline shaping RIFC. Now, here's Matt and Jason. And welcome to another episode of the Raising Anchor Soccer Show. It's a special one for all of our listeners as we have our first player interview and profile of the season. And I'm joined right now with RIFC defender Hamady Diop. Hamady, welcome to Raising Anchor.
Thank you. Thank you for welcoming. Thank you for having me out here.
It's exciting. This couldn't have been more better of a timing. We've got World Cup action ahead, but I want to make this as much about you as I can today, and that's got to start at the beginning, your love of the game. You know, you're born in Dakar, Senegal, and all I know next is that somehow you made it to Florida. You're playing with the USL 2 side in Cima Aguilas in Florida.
Yeah.
What's the story for listeners that want to know how we got from an African country into playing USL Academy ball in Florida?
I started playing soccer very young. So obviously it's my dad's favorite sport, you know. So as soon as I was born, he got me into it because, you know, it was just right when Senegal were making their first ever World Cup. That's literally when I was born. So at that time, my dad was really into soccer. So at a very young age, he got me into it. So I remember us playing together whenever he's done work back in the balcony of our little apartment. So yeah, that's basically how I got into soccer.
So it's a young age that you fall in love, but curious, there's always that moment where a player says this can be more, right? Like I can do something bigger than this. It can go pro, maybe it's collegiate. The next thing I see, you're at Monteverde Academy. Yeah. Is that where you started to see the bigger vision of where you wanted to be in the sport, or did that come later at like your time with Clemson?
I think that came really early, actually. I was really good at school. So, you know, I was trying to kind of maintain the things, but I always thought of, you know, I always want to play soccer. You know, as soon as people started coming to my parents' house and telling him he need to put me in the academy, I was maybe 5 or 6, but I didn't want to be in an academy because you would have to pass the ball to someone else, and I obviously didn't want to do that. So, but yeah, I think as soon as I was like maybe 10, 12, you know, I think it started on like I can really make this, and I'll try to really go as far as I can. So yeah, that was way before I got to Montverde, Cima, or even Clemson.
You know, I remember talking to Hugo, and one of the things that was made clear to him by his family was that you can be a soccer player, but you have to get that education as well. How important was that for you and your family to make sure that you achieved not just your goals and your accomplishments on the pitch, but also your academics?
It was really important. I think I got in trouble a lot for that because my mom was, you know, more about on the educational side, and my dad was a little bit understanding, like I can do both. So it was just trying to find the middle. So when Montverde come and offer for me to be playing soccer and also get my education, you know, I think it was just the perfect path for me to take. So yeah, but education is really important to my family.
I heard a lot about your family's support and involvement in the early years. Who else helped shape the soccer journey for you, especially in those younger times? Was it coaches? Was it teammates? Was it mentors beyond the normal circumstances? Is there someone you would put on like the Mount Rushmore of influences that you had back in those days?
It's gonna have to be my dad, if I'm being honest with you. You know, even though my mom would say no to me not going to play soccer, my dad would find a way to make an excuse saying that he would take me to a restaurant and go get food. But no, we're not going there. We're going to actually took a soccer tournament or anything that we would find to play. So yeah, my dad really pushed me, you know, through a lot of hard times, you know. So yeah, I will 100% say my dad.
I'm going to ask this question a couple times through the show today, but what were the lessons that you learned at this period of your life that still kind of echo true today? More soccer specific, but again, if there's something out there that we need to hear, what were those lessons like?
I think it's just whatever you are doing, you have to really believe in it. I think the fun is gonna come and go, but you know, if you believe, if you don't believe in anything you're doing in life, you might as well not do it at all. So I think that was the belief that I've had, and I always will have. It doesn't really matter much what people on the outside say. You know, it's what you wanna do, what you wanna do. You know, and what do you believe in? So that was really my, you know, my straight thing, honestly.
All right. Well, then let's move into this, right? Setting the table here for a second. So bear with me. It's December 2022. You finished 3 seasons with the Tigers, earning multiple accolades, including a national title along the way. We're going to get back to that. You've just signed a Generation Adidas contract, joining the ranks of legends such as Josie Altidore, Kai Kamara, owner Michael Park, and of course, fellow teammate JJ Williams. And you're entering the 2023 MLS Super Draft.
Yeah.
I've heard from some players amongst your teammates that sometimes the super draft is a bit of a surprise. And then I've also heard that some people already know where they're going, maybe not the priority order, but they kind of already know through agent conversations and coach interviews. I need to know. We know as this is going on, we know that Charlotte FC trades up for the first pick.
Yeah.
You walk listeners through, did you know that you were going first overall in the 2023 draft, or was there a little bit of surprise still in that decision?
I knew 100% I think, gonna go to Orlando because we spoke with St. Louis. They had the first pick back then, you know, before Charlotte did the trade, and they didn't have any international spot for me. So that was kind of, you know, a block for me. But then I've been talking with Orlando. I've played with Orlando first team, and I 100% knew they wanted me. Had a meeting with them, so they were scared that I was not gonna fall to third or fourth or whatever they had. So they traded up to get me on a second pick. So yeah, honestly, that's what I thought. I was gonna go to Orlando until like an hour before the draft, and then Charlotte called. So that's how I found I was gonna go to Charlotte.
Now, you're from the Carolinas at this point with Clemson and all of the other connections that you have in that area. Was Charlotte a blessing in disguise at that moment in time? Like, as a player, does your mind shift switch and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. A team wants me and they want to be that aggressive in taking me first overall? Or was it just like, hey, there's a lot of attention on me. I'm going to do the best I can, whichever team grabs me?
I think when you're like that close to being a draft, I think I kind of made up my mind to like going to Orlando because there were some calls again in the morning, and I was almost sure that if anything doesn't happen, I'm gonna go to Orlando. And I live in Orlando back then, so I had all my stuff almost ready. So they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, before preseason, Uber is just gonna pick you up." We started talking about, you know, housing and stuff like that. So yeah, but you know, then when, you know, an hour before, and then my agent called me. I was like, "Oh, I have good news and bad news." I was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" He was like, you're gonna go number one pick, but you are going to struggle." So I didn't really think much of it back then. I was like, you know, I just want to go and play whatever the team is. You know, I just gotta go and be ready.
Only 4 players up till that point, only 4 African players ever selected first overall in the Super Draft, and you were the first Senegalese player ever selected. Is there an impact? Is there an additional weight on your shoulders or expectations, or maybe just pride in the fact that you were picked first overall?
There were obviously a lot of pressure. I think just no one ever traded that much for the number one pick after all. So there was obviously an immense pressure for me to go and, you know, just prove that I'm worthy of it. So yeah, there was a lot of pressure on that.
All right. So then now you're with Charlotte, and a lot of eyes, a lot of expectations for the first
Yeah.
overall, but injuries in your first year with Charlotte, keeping you out of action for extended periods of time.
Yeah.
As a player who just started, and I think you played everything but one game at Clemson. Maybe, I don't know if that's entirely true, but the point is you played almost every game at Clemson.
Yeah.
Now you're sidelined and having to watch the team go through the action without you. How do you juggle that from a mindset perspective? How do you get through that adversity when all you want to do is validate why you were the first overall pick?
It was obviously super hard because I think, you know, ever since I was a kid, everywhere I went, it really didn't matter, you know, how old I was. Even as Clemson, when I was as a freshman, I was a starter. So coming to Charlotte and not playing and then picking up injury, which really doesn't really happen because I wasn't really missing games at Clemson. So that was really a first time experience for me. So I didn't really honestly know how to deal with it. So yeah, and that was it. I just obviously didn't know how to deal with not being able to be healthy and coping to not be playing. So that was a really tough moment for me.
Since this was your first major injury, you come back. How do you avoid that? I don't want to say playing scared, but that, that piece in the back of your mind that's like, I don't want to go through this ever again. What's the adjustment mentally? What's that thing that you did differently when you got back out to the pitch? Or was it have the trust and confidence in yourself and it doesn't change and you just get back out there?
I think the issue would be confidence at that level. So you obviously, when you come back, people started playing, and the team started doing a little bit better. So you're gonna have to like catch up with your teammates as well, and get the confidence of the coach to be playing you again. So yeah, that was the hardest part, just getting back to your level and build your confidence up. Sometimes in a professional world, it's games every sometimes 3 days, so you don't really have time to do that. Or yeah, that was the harder part too.
Was there a moment where you felt that you were ready and medical just wouldn't clear you, or they wanted to make sure that you were good to go? Sometimes I hear that there's always a difference of opinion between the technical staff and the players' mentality on this. Which way did it go after the recovery?
uh I think it's a little bit of both. If I'm being honest, I thought I was ready. At the same time, if I was playing, I would have not been at 100%. I would have been at 70 at max. But sometimes at 70 you can play it in college, but it's definitely a lot harder when you want to play at a higher level. So you have to be at 100% since you want to come and prove it. You cannot be half and half.
Fair enough. Well, we got to get to our first break, and when we return, we have more questions for Hamady Diop. Don't go anywhere. It's the Raising Anchor Soccer Show. Thank you for listening to tonight's broadcast powered by Sprout Coworking. For all your business needs, large or small, visit sproutcoworking.com. Powering 990 WBOB, that's sproutcoworking.com.
Now, let's get back to the Raising Anchor Soccer Show on 990 WBOB with Matt Entrican and Jason Carey.
All right, back here with Rhode Island FC defender Hamady Diop. Hamady, want to move on from Charlotte. The unthinkable happens. One of the rarest moments in at least the MLS soccer landscape. You're selected in San Diego's expansion draft. Before we get to San Diego, though, I want to ask, had you put down the roots in the Carolinas, knowing that you had this community around you in the Queen City? What was that like from a personal level, knowing that nobody really knew that this was going to happen up until that moment in the expansion draft?
Uh, I don't think many people knew, if I'm being honest. Obviously, the draft is usually like that. Sometimes you don't find out until last minute. So yeah, I mean, I got a call at 5 a.m. saying I got traded. So, I kind of had a little bit of idea because San Diego wanted me to come, but you really never sure until it happened. So I'm pretty sure Charlotte didn't know until it happened in last minute. So, and I wasn't protected. So which means that San Diego can basically pick me for free. So, and that's exactly what happened.
Is there a bit of pride knowing that out of the 500 player pool, obviously clubs can only protect so many, so maybe that number is a little bit less, but is there a sense of pride that you got cherry picked, or does it still just kind of not leave a good taste in your mouth while you're trying to build a reputation and a relationship with one club only to get ripped right out of it?
I think I kind of moved on from Charlotte at that point, like mentally. I was on loan in Europe and I was playing. I kind of I wouldn't mind staying in Europe and keep playing because we're competing for European stuff on that team I was. So I kind of a little bit had it checked out, honestly. Going back to Charlotte, that's something that I think I didn't want to do at that point. So I was kind of glad I was gonna be off to somewhere else. So at that same day, I think I have a game. So and I got a call basically saying I won't be part of the 11. I think the next day. So I mean, I wasn't really part of the team anymore.
Obviously MLS is on a different calendar system than the rest of the international game. How fast did you have to come back and report to San Diego then at that point?
I think I had to go back home to renew my visa, and we are still playing in Europe at that. Back then, the transfer window is not open yet, so we're still playing. I think it was around December 18, something like that, and that window is not gonna be closed until December 18. So it still was there for the team, and then as soon as it's closed, I think it's December 19, I had to fly home, renew my visa basically, and then 4 days later I had to fly to San Diego.
But this wasn't an opportunity where you could stay as long as possible while on loan it was the Serbian league, right?
Yeah.
Like, this wasn't an opportunity for you to be as fit. You had to stop and then move back, and then it was like you had to rush to wait, right?
Yeah, it was basically, you have to leave. That's basically what it was, and that's how it happened.
Wild. Want to ask, and I don't know if this is because you were already on loan. Did you get to have a final conversation with head coach Dean Smith at Charlotte at that point?
No.
Did he haven't? No. Okay, so it was like, hey, thanks for everything, but you're a San Diego player now.
Yeah, there was no talk at all with anyone whatsoever in Charlotte. So I do not know. I don't know if they took the news well, because obviously, it was between my agent and San Diego stuff. So yeah, there was no talk whatsoever about with Charlotte or anyone related to that.
We'll talk about San Diego in a second, but I want to ask this question, and sometimes it gets a little dangerous to ask, but that what if, right? If you hadn't been selected in the expansion draft by San Diego, you would have been on this different trajectory. Do you think about it ever, or as a professional player, do you just have to focus on what's in front of you?
I mean, I don't think you can not think about it. There is always a what if. What if I went to Orlando instead of Charlotte? What if, I decided to go to Europe instead of going to MLS? So all those questions you keep on asking yourself, but then you realize it doesn't help, so you just gotta move on. So, but yeah, there's always a what if, honestly.
So then let's get into San Diego. You come in the expansion year and you have to prove yourself all over.
Yeah.
First question I want to ask is, how difficult is it to assimilate and gel as a young pro when you weren't playing a lot of minutes in the MLS to begin with, and you're playing for a team that didn't exist on paper 3 months prior, other than like the financials and that there was a stadium?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
I think when everyone just came the same, I think I had a similar experience with everyone, because there was a lot of players down there that were playing in Europe as well. So I think at first it was a really great experience. So it was a lot of learning, because it's completely different. All the coaching staff, almost half of them are from Europe. So it was a lot of learning for sure.
Did everyone come in kind of on a level playing field? Like, is there an advantage to that? Like, were there designated leaders early on in that locker room experience when you guys were going through preseason? Or was it kind of, we're going to take some time and everyone's going to figure this out as we go along the way?
No, I think everything was designated already. I think, as soon as we came in, they had an idea what their starting 11 would look like, who would be the starting goalkeeper, who would be the captain, who are the team leaders. No, everything was designed already. I think everyone kind of know each other. Obviously they wouldn't select the people that they think wouldn't fit for the team, so they kind of had an idea of what they wanted.
Now, the thing I remember the most about San Diego in that first year was that not everyone understood the vision of where San Diego wanted to go. Some early surprises, and maybe that wasn't fair to what you and the guys were doing down there. I think a lot of people were like, well, there's not those names that people are familiar with around the domestic league, and San Diego comes out the gates flying and almost couldn't be stopped. I mean, it went all the way down to the end of the season in the playoffs. Were you as surprised to see such early success, and what do you attribute that to at your time in San Diego?
I wouldn't say I was surprised. I think if you came and attend our training session and just watch the games, you can tell like the team is gonna go far. Training was as hard as the game, sometimes even more. So I think it was a lot different to what I experienced in Charlotte, if I'm being honest. So as soon as that second week came in, that team is going to be hard to stop in the league for sure. I think the
Why
system
do
was great. So I mean, coaching staff had a great system. So yeah, and it was. I mean, if you never play them, you not by the time you figure out what it would be, you are down 2 goals already. So yeah, it would be hard for any team.
why do you think so many people were slow to react to what San Diego was building there in that time?
I think it's just brand new team. You cannot really have a good scouting report, and you don't. The coach never was a head coach anywhere else, so you don't know what the system is going to bring in. Sometimes if you play against an older coach, you know how he would want to play, so you get your players ready, the team ready. So I think when it comes to us, we're just new. You just don't know what to expect. So yeah, that's basically what it was.
And what players were kind of your mentors or your coaches, not the of course coaches, but the ones that helped you through that time in MLS? Maybe it's a Charlotte player, maybe it's a San Diego player, but who were the guys in the locker room that were really kind of helping you bring out the best version of yourself?
I think they were really the locker room in San Diego was really a bunch of great guys, if I'm being honest. So like you everyone is great. I think Chucky, people might say a lot of things about what is happening right now, but I thought he was a great guy in the locker room. So, but yeah, Chucky, there's Yepe, Paddy Magner, all those great guys. They play in Europe, they know what it takes to win. So it was easy for me to get to ask them questions. I feel like they had the answer for everything almost.
So, want to ask the difficult question. San Diego flying high. We're getting to the middle of the season. We're past Leagues Cup, and we find out that you've been waived from the team. Were you surprised at that mid-season decision, considering how well the team was doing? And how do you deal with that as a setback when it comes to both being a player and a human being? Because, I didn't see that coming at all when San Diego's doing that well. What was that like for you on a personal note?
I think it was surprising, kind of, but at the same time, it's business because I came in there and I was playing, and then after 8 games in a row, I had a complete hamstring tear. It was a 4 months injury, and as soon as I had my injury, they were like, we want you here, but you're also holding an international spot, so it's going to be hard to have a player that is holding an international spot that out for that much long time. The league is not going to wait for us, none of those things. So, and we had a limited amount of players, so that's basically how it happened. And I was surprised, but yeah, it is kind of business, if I'm being honest with you. So if you're not healthy enough to play, team are going to move on. That's basically what it is.
All right. Well, we're going to get to our second break. And when we return, we're going to jump into all of the RIFC action here with defender Hamady Diop. Don't go anywhere. It's the Raising Anchor Soccer Show. Fans, as the weather becomes more and more unpredictable, be sure to check out 990 WBOB's weather page for all your temperature, storm, and travel info. Stay prepared for whatever Mother Nature has in store with the 990 WBOB weather page.
Now, let's get back to the Raising Anchor Soccer Show on 990 WBOB with Matt Entrican and Jason Carey.
Here with Rhode Island FC defender Hamady Diop. Hamady, we want to get into the most important part of your journey, and that, of course, is with the Amber and Blue here in Rhode Island. Got to ask the first question. How did you get connected to Cano Smith and the club, and what was the allure of joining the Rhode Island FC Football Club in the championship?
I obviously didn't really know much about Rhode Island, but I think when I was in Charlotte, at some point they wanted me to come on loan because wasn't starting many games in Charlotte. So I think I had an idea on the team, and it was their first year then. So, but back then I didn't want to, come all the way down. It was my first year, so I didn't want to come all the way down to Rhode Island. So, yeah, and that's how we kind of stayed in touch, I would say. So yeah, and then when this thing happened, it just happened.
It's interesting because we've seen the technical staff and some of the roster decisions that they've made. It's always about the relationships in the championship level, whether it's something from 3 months ago or it's an academy run in 5 or 6 years prior. There's nothing like that for this one, right? This was just the technical staff understanding your attributes and the skill sets that you bring. How hard did Kano have to work as a GM to get you to this team then?
Uh, I wouldn't say he worked hard. I think I made it pretty easy for him. So yeah, let's just say that they don't put him up with many competitions. So yeah, he called me and I was like, I'll 100% consider it. I'm trying to focus on staying healthy at first right now because I'm still coming from a long-term injury. So whenever I'm ready to be playing again, I'll make a call and then I'll come down and we'll see.
I don't want to sugarcoat this, but obviously MLS is in a different caliber than the championship. Were there hesitations or reservations in coming into Division Two time, or was it just more about you getting those minutes at this point and building your resume back up?
I think it was more about just me being healthy. I think I really needed to be healthy and then playing more games as much as I can. I think that was my first thought. There is nothing that make me happy more than playing games. So I really didn't care much if it was MLS or any other team. I think as soon as some calls started coming in, I told my agent if it is MLS for me to, be playing a couple of games, I really don't want to do it. I need to get my legs going and I just want to play. I really don't care.
As a defender, have you noticed a significant drop off between championship and MLS? I won't pretend like it doesn't exist, but we always see these physical, smash and grab, beat up kind of games. We've seen you tested multiple times since joining the squad. What is the difference between MLS and USL for you currently playing in the championship?
I think MLS, I think it's hard. The games you can manage MLS games a lot easier. But I think championship is just super hard. Like I never get tackled as much as I get playing USL games. So, and that says a lot as a defender. And everybody just be coming after you. I don't know. Last game I got maybe 5-6 times as a defender. I mean, doesn't happen in MLS for sure. So yeah, it's a complete different. I think MLS is more organized. People trying to maybe press less. There is lot less defensive recoveries. So yeah, I think when it comes to physicality, USL is just different. MLS is more managing. So yeah.
As a defender, especially when calls don't go your way, how noticeable has the refereeing and the lack of support technology like VAR been in being a defender and getting the calls that you need in this league? And don't get yourself in trouble, by the way, because we don't want you getting fined because USL Pro finds out.
Nah, he'll be fine. I think it's very similar. I don't know, why people are complaining much. I think MLS refs and the USL are very similar. Sometimes you might have good ones. Sometimes you might just have bad calls. I think it's part of the game, and I try to focus less on the bad calls, if I'm being honest, and just focus on the things you can control. It's always not gonna go on your way, especially when you're playing away. So yeah, you're just gonna have to manage and just expect worse every time. So you're not gonna disappoint yourself.
On a personal note, so take the player out of this for a second. How have you enjoyed Rhode Island so far? I ran into Clay the other day, and he told me he wasn't sure he could handle another rainy day on his day off. Has New England weather gotten under your skin yet?
Yeah. Let's just say that it was really cold in January when I first got here. I think that's the coldest I've ever felt. So yeah, but I think I'm managing. My girlfriend is here, so she's helping me kind of smooth it out a little bit. So it's always great to have company with you, I guess.
So no conversations with your agent that any future moves, just nothing in the north. It's got to be warmer temperatures and better weather.
There's no conversation much as such. I think right now I just told him I just wanna, you know, focus on having a great season, whatever it is, until the end of the season, whether it is halfway. I think the focus right now is helping the team get back to where we deserve to be.
I always like to do a shout out for any restaurants or any locations you visited, any sites and bites that you want to give a plug to that you've enjoyed so far with your time here in the Ocean State.
We went to the California, man, I forgot about.
California Taco.
Yes, it was shout out to them. Gave us great food. So yeah, shout out to California Tacos.
It's fun fact with your time in San Diego, they invented the California burrito, and it's the only place in all of New England I've ever found that does the San Diego style of like Tex-Mex. So I'm glad we could bring you some comfort food from your time back in SoCal.
That is true.
All right. Well, I want to get back in then to you as a player here, and specifically your type of soccer. I did as much tape review prior to you joining Rhode Island FC when you first signed. I wanted to know a little bit more about you. Watched a lot of your time at Clemson, and Kano called you something very interesting when you first got signed. He called you a unicorn, and I think he was hinting at the scarcity of finding a left-footed defender in this particular league at this particular strength.
Yeah.
Maybe he also thinks you've got some magic in you as well. But I want to ask, what does it say about you, and what does it take to make a great defender, not just at Rhode Island, but in this league overall today?
I think just reading the game, if I'm being honest, not being scared to play. Be a leader in the back line. I think, games are going to be hard, and people are going to, be coming at you for 90 minutes. So, got to stay ready, got to stay healthy, and be a leader. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to accomplish, obviously. I haven't gone out our way much, but we will get there eventually for sure. I believe in that.
One of the things we love to ask defenders, especially in our center back line, is understanding the game that they're playing now. Is the way Kano has asked you to perform different from previous coaches like Varus or Smith or in Clemson? Is it a new approach to the game, or is it him asking you to do the things you've already done exceptionally well?
I think it's just asking you to be the best version of yourself. I think that whatever the game is asking me to do, I believe I can do it. So, for me to do that, I just got to be the best version of myself, and I think that's what the team needs. That's what the coaching staff wanted me to do. So just got to get there, honestly.
So we haven't seen you for a full season yet. We're getting close to that almost year marker here. Want to ask, have we seen you at your absolute best soccer yet? Or is there more in the tank to showcase to fans when you play in front of them in Pawtucket? Where are we at on the full Hamady Diop experience?
Obviously, we haven't gotten there. I think I've been quite unlucky. Also coming in this season again, missing first couple of games with injury, so I haven't really been at my fitness 100%. Haven't really felt my legs 100%. So yeah, we are very far from the best version of myself. Not close, not at all.
Now, I know you came into the season late last year, but the defense was one of the hallmarks of the club this year. It still feels like the defense is right where it needs to be. Where do you and the rest of the defenders want to take this team into the rest of the season? Is it because we've seen clean sheets so far, we've seen some surprise results against us not going our direction. Where would you rate this club right now overall defensively, and what's that next hurdle or milestone to accomplish as a group?
I'll say there were just some games we got incredibly unlucky. So games we considered 0 goals, and then there are games we considered 4. So if you're gonna be talking about, the goal you consider, and if you take 2 games and you're like, oh, we considered 4 in 2 games, yeah, there is 1 game you didn't consider at all. So it's kind of hard. I think the best thing is for all of us, the back unit to find our level, and then for that to happen, everyone needs to be healthy and everyone needs to be out there. So I haven't been out there 100%. So yeah, that kind of if you're gonna be a starter, you kind of play a big roles on the team. You know, you gotta be out there and stay healthy. I think as soon as I find my level, the team is gonna be a lot better, not just defensively, but offensively as well. We can score a lot more, I think, when I'm out there helping the team.
When we talk to attacking minded players, you know, they set goals for themselves or benchmarks that they want to hit. Sometimes it's goals, assists, contributions in general. Sometimes it's their passing accuracy. For a defender, what are the stats that you want to see yourself reach on a personal level, or what are those goals that you have? Is it clean sheets? Is it not being stripped off the ball? Is it your tackles, your recoveries? Like, for Hamady Diop, what are your goals that you're looking to accomplish individually this year with Rhode Island?
I think I contribute a lot offensively, you know. So obviously I'm not saying I'm trying to score, but I think, especially as of right now, all we need to do is win. I care about clean sheet, but if I have to take a 3-2 win, I'll take it as of right now. So the goals right now is just ramping up as many points as we can so we can have a home playoff game, because I think that the whole state deserves to have a home playoff game, which we haven't had. So yeah, that's the ultimate goal right now. Just ramp up as many points as we can, which means you're gonna have to score goals to win games.
So what I'm hearing is 10 goals by the end of the season from you, right? That's the new goal.
Maybe 10 goals from whoever is playing in the midfield. You know, I think JJ is gonna find his way to get goals. Leo is gonna find his way to get goals. You know, so it's JJ. I think, you know, if you can get the midfielders to contribute more on goals, you know, we're gonna be really good.
Frank was the third highest goal scorer in 2024. So it's not in the wheelhouse for a defender to rise to the occasion. But I want to talk. I told you we would go back to this. I want to get back to your time at Clemson, and I want to talk about a particular game. So I'm going to set the table again one more time. It seems like you have a knack for being a part of very big games at Wake Med Park in Cary, North Carolina. First, it was defeating Washington in Clemson's first national title since 1987. And then it was last season, ending North Carolina's playoff run and operations as a club as a whole, really, in November last year in the playoffs. I'm not going to ask you to tell us which was the bigger moment, because I think we know. But has Nick Scardina let that loss while playing with Washington go, or do you guys still take cracks at each other every single day?
Every single day. Every day, because we had one of the Tampa players. He was playing left back for Washington. So when they came down to town, you know, I was like, oh, he told me that he played on that game. I was like, damn, I didn't even notice you. You know, I think so. I didn't even Nick Scott did not play on that game either. So yeah, I still take that of him. So almost every day. So it's never gonna change. It's probably gonna be how our friendship will be forever.
Do you just use that as a win for every argument, even if it's not related to that moment? Just like if it's a five-a-side at practice, it's like, yeah, you got it today, but I still beat you in 2021.
I do. I asked him where his ring is, so I told him, you know, come home. I will let you have a hold of it.
All jokes aside, did you guys get to interact? It looked like you guys were on Charlotte at the same time. So was there that moment there? And if you did, does it at least feel good to have a familiar face with you here in the locker room now in his first year with Rhode Island?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think if you were to ask me about players that I've played with or like interacted with, if you're asking me who I would bring, you know, in Rhode Island to be, you know, my teammates, Nick is probably going to be in the top 3 for sure. So I'm extremely grateful and happy. You know, once he texted me, he was like, "Oh, do you think Rhode Island will need a right back?" I'm like, "Hey, let me hit up Kano real quick and we'll see what we can do."
So your future is also as a player agent. Clay Holstead has done a lot of recruiting for this team, so it sounds like that's you too.
For Nick, I will be that for sure, just so I can make fun of him.
I can't wait to have Nick on the show later this year and find out what his answer to this is. But really quickly, how important was that title victory for you at Clemson? Did that just open every door possible for you? And would you say that that's the most important soccer moment in your life, or is there something else that needs to be accredited as the number one in your life?
No, I think that was the biggest moment. I think there's no one that I don't know. It's just having, winning with your friends is just something different. So, and they haven't won in 36 years. As soon as I got in Clemson, Mike Noonan was like, oh, we never play freshman as a starter anymore, and we haven't won in 36 years. I was like, I told him there's a first time for everything. So, as soon as we won it, that was the best feeling ever.
Best moment so far, as you do have a very long runway of many more soccer moments. Before we go to break, I always love hearing this. Who are the 2 or 3 guys within the squad that are kind of they're your posse, they're your gang, they're your homies, they're your buddies? It seems like everyone's always got that 1 or 2 that makes them a terrible trio. Who are your terrible trio?
Right now in Rhode Island?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean,
only Rhode Island.
Nick, 100%. I think I have a great relationship with Karifa and Jacob as well. Danny. I mean, I wouldn't say a trio. I think there is Nick first for sure, but I have a really great relationship with almost everyone.
When they remake Bad Boys for Life, it's going to be you and Nick on the silver screen at one point, is what I'm hearing.
Has to be.
All right, well, we're going to go to our final break, and then we're going to talk all things World Cup. Don't go anywhere. It's the Raising Anchor Soccer Show.
Now, let's get back to the Raising Anchor Soccer Show on 990 WBOB with Matt Entrican and Jason Carey.
All right, here with Rhode Island FC defender Hamady Diop, talking all things World Cup. I feel like this is a self-answering question, but how excited are you to see Senegal take the world stage and grow the game, especially for your home country? Do you still get to say, and do you get to still feel connected to Senegal from a sporting performance?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I watch every single game Senegal plays. It doesn't really matter much what categories. If I get a chance to, I'll watch. My parents are still back home, so yeah, super connected to the national team.
A lot of young players always dream about representing their country one day. Is that something that you're still chasing? If not, what does it mean to still represent Senegal on the world stage as a professional player here, both in America and for Rhode Island?
I think I would still chase it. I think I just want to reach the highest level, and whenever you reach the highest level, opportunities are going to be open up for you. So yeah, if that opportunity presents itself, it would be a blessing for sure. So, but yeah, when it comes to representing Senegal here, just trying to be my best, represent the country as good as I can. So yeah.
Gonna get a little political here for a second, so bear with me. I just read that the U.S. State Department reversed the $15,000 bond requirement that they imposed on certain African countries, Senegal among them. What are your thoughts on fans finally being able to visit and attend the World Cup and get access to the games? Is it too little too late at this point, or should it have never happened to begin with? What are your overall thoughts? Like, do you have family and friends that kind of got locked out that couldn't come?
Yeah, I actually did have a friend, he was playing for Tormenta, and then because of all that thing, he couldn't fly back and have a preseason with his team on time. So I think it's really unfortunate that we are in this situation. And when it comes to the world of sport, everyone, it just unite people. So I don't think we should have a World Cup that kind of divides nation and stuff like that, because it's called a World Cup for a reason. Every France has the right to represent, its team and support them as far as they can. So, if they can afford it, why not, let them do what they can do.
Want to talk about Senegal's chances here in advancing out of Group I. How do you feel their chances are? It's a stacked group: France, Iraq, Norway, Senegal. Overall feelings before the tournament kicks off here. Where do we stand?
I think France is going to be really hard to beat, obviously, because it's France. But it's a World Cup. We never know, I think. But the biggest game will probably be against Norway. So if we can take care of that game, we'll be fine. Because I don't think Iraq is going to cause much issues, or I think we can. Obviously, it's a 3 points that you need to get against Iraq. But Norway, you gotta take your chance and put it away. And then France, whatever happened. But it's unfortunate because we're gonna start the first game against France. So, yeah.
Speaking of that match against France, I don't think a lot of people understand the cultural roots between the two nations as a colony at one point. Like I talked to someone the other day about having this interview with you, and they're like, "Oh, well, what does he speak?" I'm like, "Well, he speaks English because otherwise I don't know how he gets on this show." But second, I know that he speaks French, and and they said, "Why would anyone speak French from Senegal?" Thoughts overall on the France versus Senegal piece? Do you get to kind of root for two countries then at that point, or is it Senegal or nothing?
Nah, I think when it comes to France, I cannot root for France. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. No, that's not gonna happen. It's not like
I wasn't sure. Yeah, no, I wasn't sure how that worked at that point. So
I'm not me. Maybe people that I do not know that are half Senegalese, half French, but not me for sure. No.
So then, want to talk about the watch parties and the experiences. Is there any chance that you're going to get to go see Senegal play? They've got 2 matches down in New Jersey at New York Stadium. Have you looked at the bank account? Is there an opportunity to go and attend any of those? Like, do you have Senegalese connections with the football federation? Like, walk with me here. Like, how do you get to go to these games?
I think my girlfriend is trying to push to go. She's more pushy than me. I'm saying if it happens, it happens. But last time we looked at prices, they were super crazy. I think it was almost 2,000 for the both of us. So yeah, hopefully it goes down before then, and then we can make it. She want to experience it. I haven't either, but I'm not like super overly, like how she is. But if we can go, we probably would make it for sure.
You guys haven't collectively reached out to Kano or RFC ownership and said, "Hey, it'd be really nice if we could get some tickets to one game." Like, that hasn't happened. That conversation hasn't happened yet.
Maybe if we get some more wins, they will let us have some tickets. Maybe.
See, that's the sporting metric that is the incentive everyone wants to hear. If you do well, you get to attend the World Cup.
True. I mean, if they put it out there on the board, I think we're gonna work twice harder.
If you can't make the match, are you going to attend any of the local soccer festivals, whether it's Providence or Boston? Are you going to be out and amongst the people, or are you the kind of person that sits at home and just locks in on the game and doesn't want the distractions around?
A little bit of both, but I think I wouldn't mind doing it at least once. Go have, that experience of people going to a watch party. I think that'd be an amazing experience to have. A World Cup is not gonna happen here anytime soon. It doesn't seem like, so might as well just go experience it right now if you can.
Well, we will have to see how Senegal does. I cannot wait for all of the games ahead for that. I also can't wait for more Rhode Island FC action. This team has always historically gotten hot in the middle of the season towards the back stretch. It's a perfect time. You're already doing well now, so I can't wait to see what happens in the months to come. Hamady, final question of the day. If you could speak to your younger self, what would that version of Hamady need to hear in his soccer journey, and how would you say it to him?
I actually haven't thought about that. It depends. I think how young are we talking about?
It's whichever. You can pick the age and you can pick the message.
I think when I was maybe 5, I would not say nothing else, but just keep pushing it. It's gonna happen. Just keep pushing. I wouldn't say don't do anything else, because education matters, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for education. But yeah, probably just keep pushing yourself for sure.
Well, we cannot wait to see what you keep pushing here with Rhode Island and your many years to come within the professional game. Thank you so much for joining the show. Cannot wait to have you back on in the future.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Take care.
You've been listening to the Raising Anchor Soccer Show. You can follow the show on Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok at RIFC Podcast and at Raising Anchor on Instagram. And be sure to check out and subscribe to Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you listen by searching for Raising Anchor. Make sure to check out all of our coverage over at the Blazing Musket for all your New England soccer coverage, including RAFC news at theblazingmusket.com. Fans, we thank you for listening. We ask you to be kind and courteous to your neighbors as you leave the show. We thank you for joining us and look forward to seeing you again. Until then, I'm your main man, Juju, and on behalf of the Raising Anchor crew, goodbye for now. And as always, we are Rhode Island FC.